Am I audible now, guys? Am I audible now, guys? Yes. I'm audible, right? All okay with everyone? I think you can hear me. I'm just checking the sound here, okay? Am I audible now, guys? Yes. I'm audible, right? All okay with everyone? I think you can hear me. I'm just checking the sound here. Alright. Okay, this works fine, I think. The sound is absolutely fine. But it seems to be... I'm audible, right? All okay with everyone? I think you can hear me. I'm just checking the sound here. Alright. Okay, this works fine, I think. The sound is absolutely fine. It seems to be... I'm audible, right? All okay with everyone? I think you can hear me. Okay. So I think this is fine. I think we are live and we are audible and everything. There seems to be no issue, but just give me 1 second. I will also check from the technical team side. मुझे बस आप 1 मिनट दीजिएगा. I just want to make sure that the voice is okay and there's no background noise and nothing like that, because initially I don't think there was any noise, there was any voice, but now I think there's a lot of background noise, so I just want to clear that. Just give me 2 minutes for that, guys. I don't want the class to get disturbed once we start. So let's just check it once. Okay, I think this seems to be working fine, and someone from the technical team will definitely check it, and if there's any difficulty they will let us know. So let us start with our discussion. Let us start with our chapter, today's lecture. So guys, I would request all of you, before we start, I would request all of you to join the Telegram channel. The link and the scan code both have been given. You can choose, you can opt for whichever you want. Now, why is it important for you to join the Telegram group? Because this is where you will get updates regarding the classes, okay? Also here you will get your notes. So whatever files that we upload in the class, you will get the PDF format of that, so it will be easier for you to keep revising your lessons, because this is where you will get it in your notes or PDF format. All right, so this won't be an issue. So do join the group, because that is going to help you a lot. So chaliye, without further ado, I think let's start with the chapter. Let's start with the lesson here now. So guys, yesterday we have completed Jainism, and today we will be continuing with our discussion on Buddhism. Alright, we have discussed quite a lot. We have discussed about the causes of growth of Buddhism and Jainism. We have discussed about the persecution, about the teachings of Buddhism. We have discussed quite a lot about it, but there's still a lot which is left to be discussed, and that's what we will do in today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we will be talking about... In today's lecture, we will be talking about the Buddhist councils, guys, okay? Now this is very important from your MCQ, from your exam perspective, because I myself have given net exams quite a few times, so I've cleared it now. So I've given net exams quite a few times, and I have been asked this question, I don't know how many times, I've even lost count of it. But Buddhist council is one of the most important questions that you can get, and this is a guarantee question, guys. This is going to come. Alright, so you have to remember the first and the second and the third and the fourth Buddhist councils, who presided over it, where did it happen, what was decided, everything has to be done here. So let's talk about the first Buddhist council. When did it happen? It happened in 483 BCE. Okay, and where did it happen? It happened in Rajgriha, or present day Rajgir. Who was the king who was presiding? Ajatashatru was the king who was presiding. Okay, who was the Buddhist? Who was the Buddhist monk, or you can say from the side of Buddhism, who was presiding? So we have Mahashakapa. He was the one who was presiding from the Buddhist side, in the Buddhist council. Okay. Now, what was decided in this particular council? So in the first Buddhist council, Buddha's teachings were divided into three categories. So there's the Pitakas, the Sut Pitak, Vinay Pitak, and the Abhidham Pitak. I've already discussed that in quite a lot of detail with you all. Alright, so Sut Pitak is the teachings of Buddhism. Vinay Pitak contains the rules and regulations for the monks and the nuns which are to be followed, those who live in the Sangha. And Abhidham Pitak contains the philosophical matters of Buddhism. Alright, just a second, guys. I think there is some doubt that people have sent. Alright, let's move ahead. So this is your first Buddhist council. Alright, let's talk about the second Buddhist council. The second Buddhist council, this happened in 383 BCE. Then where did it take place? This took place in Vaishali. Alright, who was the king who was presiding over it? It was Kal Ashok. And then who was presiding from the side of the Buddhist council? It was Sabakami. And what was decided here? So there was a division, okay. Sthaviravadins, they felt that they were keeping the original spirit of Buddhist teachings, alright. And then we have Mahasanghikas, the great community, or the Sangha of Buddhist community was founded, alright. And they basically interpreted Buddhist teachings more liberally, in a more, you can say, in an open manner. Fine. So what all happened in the second Buddhist council? In the second Buddhist council, there was division. Okay. So there was division of Stharavadins. Fine. They felt that they were keeping the original idea of Buddhism intact. And then there was this great community that was founded, or the Mahasanghikas, or the Mahasangh was founded. And they interpreted Buddha's teachings in a much more liberal manner, in a much more open manner. Fine. So these are the two things which happened in the council, the first and the second council of Buddhism. Let me know if you have any doubts here. The live chat is open, guys. So अगर आपको कुछ doubt है तो आप मुझे ज़रूर बताइए. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's finish the council, so then we can move, come back to it if you have any doubts. Alright, when the third Buddhist council took place? This took place in 250 BCE. It was in Patliputra. It was presided over by Ashoka. Now, generally you can get asked a question as to Ashoka presided over which Buddhist council. So that is important. So third Buddhist council is actually quite important from your exam perspective. Who was presiding from the side of Buddhism? We have Magaliputta Tissa. What was the main aim? The main aim was to purify the Buddhist movement from opportunistic factions, people who were trying to make Buddhism their own, or people who were trying to have control over Buddhism. They were trying to change the Buddhist principles to suit their needs, all right. And then a lot of Buddhist missionaries were sent to different parts of the countries, or different countries like Sri Lanka, China, Japan, Myanmar, Malaysia, all of these places, and Buddhism was to be spread, all right. And we all know that Ashoka himself had sent his two children, Sanghamitra and Mahendra, to different countries, so that they could spread, and they could spread and convert people. Not convert, I would say, that's a very strong word to use, but they wanted to basically spread the idea of Buddhism. Okay, let's discuss what happened in the 4th century, in the 4th Buddhist Council. That was in the 1st century CE. Okay, this happened in Kashmir under the rulership of Karishka, who was presiding from the side of the Buddhists. It was presided over by Vasumitra, and here you will see the division of Buddhism into two parts, that is Mahayana and Hinayan. Okay, you will see what? You will see the division of Buddhism was divided into two parts, that is Mahayana and Hinayan. So these are the 4 Buddhist councils which have happened. I would request everyone to just go through it. The live chat is open, guys. If you have any doubts, you can let me know. Just take a look at both the slides. And let me know if you are facing any doubts. Okay, so I think this is quite clear. Let's move ahead then. Okay, now let's talk about some of the most important Buddhist writers. Now this also is very important from your MCQ perspective, guys. Okay, they can give you a lot of questions from here. I know it's a lot to remember, but there's nothing you can do. You have to remember this, right? Okay, so first of all, we have Ashvaghosha. Now he was the author of Buddha Charita, all right, and he was a contemporary of Kanishka, and he was a scholar, poet, dramatist, musician, and a debater. Just remember the important points here. So Ashvaghosha was basically the author of Buddha Charita, all right. That is the most important point you should remember. Nagarjuna, he was the founder of the Madhyamaka school of Mahayana Buddhism. Madhyamaka means basically again the middle path, but he was the founder of this in the Mahayana Buddhism. Okay. Then we have Asanga and Vasubandhu. They were brothers. So Vasubandhu's greatest work, Abhidharma Kosha, is also known as the encyclopedia of Buddhism. Okay, so Abhidharma Kosha is also the encyclopedia of Buddhism. So basically this is commentaries on the practices of Buddhism. It basically tells you all about Buddhism. It tells you how Buddhism is to be followed, the doctrines of it. So it is like commentaries on Buddhism, which will make it easy for you to understand the aspects of Buddhism. Fine. So we have Asanga and Vasubandhu. We have Buddha Ghosha. He is basically the Vishuddhi Magga, the path of purification, a comprehensive summary and analysis of the Theravada understanding of Buddha's path of liberation. So Buddha Ghosha is the author of what? He is the author of Vishuddhi Magga. Now Vishuddhi Magga, as the name suggests, it is basically this path of purification that one can follow. Now it also summarizes the understanding that the Theravadins. Now who are the Theravadins? Theravadins are actually the original followers of Buddhism. the old followers of Buddhism. Alright, so Theravedans are the older follower of Buddhism. Okay, so they have their own understanding. So this Vishuddhi Magga basically talks about the path of purification and what understanding did the Theravedans have about Buddhism and about Buddha's path to liberation. Okay, so this is like this is basically talking about the older understanding of Buddhism, or the understanding that the original followers of Buddhism had about Buddha, his doctrines, his teachings, and the path he had taken to work towards liberation. Okay, then we have Dinaga. He is known as the founder of Buddhist logic. Okay, Dinaga, he is the founder of Buddhist logic. Then we have Dharmakriti. He was a Buddhist logician, a philosopher, a thinker, and a dialectician. Okay, sorry, dialectician. So what do you mean by this? So Dharmakriti was basically a Buddhist logician, in the sense he basically found logic in all of the Buddhist practices, or he told us about the logic behind the Buddhist practices. Why is it being followed? How is it being followed? What is the reason behind following certain things that we follow? All right, so that's, you know, some of the important writers. We have a few more we will talk about. All right, but just take a look at all of these and let me know if there's anything you don't understand. The live chat is open, guys. You can always use the live chat to ask your doubts. So please let me know if you have any doubts that you're facing. Just take a look at all the points here. Okay, so I can see no doubts, so then maybe we can go ahead, shall we? Alright, now we are going to be talking about something really important here. Now we will be talking about the schools of Buddhism, or basically we'll be talking about the division in Buddhism. Now this division happened in the 4th Buddhist Council, guys, where Kanishka was presiding and Vasumitra was the one who was presiding from the side of Buddhism. Now what was this division? So the division was of Heenyan and Mahayana. Now if you literally translate Heenyan, it means lesser vehicle. So lesser vehicle means what? A lesser path towards achieving salvation. Okay, that's what Heenyan actually means here. So what is the difference between Heenyan and Mahayana? Let's try to focus on that. I'll just tell you about it. So Heenyan, it is considered to be the lesser vehicle. Now it is actually this was something which was elaborated, or something which was founded by the Theravedans. Now who is the Theravedans? Now Theravedans basically means the doctrine of elders. Now what do you mean by the doctrine of elders? Now this actually was the original form of Buddhism, guys. Okay, this was the original form of Buddhism. This is what Buddha advocated. This is what Buddha wanted people to follow. A lot of things changed after this, but this is what Buddha wanted people to follow. So this was the original form of Buddhism, the only form of Buddhism that Buddha actually wanted it to exist, but that did not happen. Fine. So they basically, Yin Yang was true to Buddha's teachings. They completely, and like one point they followed Buddha's teachings. Fine. So Theravada actually was the original philosophy of Buddhism. And what was the original philosophy? First of all, Buddha was never considered to be a god. He was considered to be a human being who has attained knowledge and who can guide people through their salvation. Okay. The importance of karma was the most important thing here. Not worshipping Buddha would not get you salvation, but your own karmas will be able to get you salvation. Alright. Now at present, this kind of Buddhism is found in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand and some part of Southeast Asia as well. Ashoka patronized Hinian. Obviously, Ashoka patronized Hinian because this division actually happened in the Buddhist Council, in the 4th Buddhist Council. So till Ashoka's time, this was the only form of Buddhism which had existed. Now, the most important aspect of Hinian Buddhism is the fact that Buddha was considered to be a human being. He was nothing more, nothing less. And none of it, if you worship Buddha or if you do anything like that, you will not be able to attain salvation. Only your own karmas will be able to get you salvation. Okay. They don't believe in idol worship, so they don't believe in worshipping Buddha. And the scriptures are in Pali, which is the language of the people. Okay. Let's do Mahayana and then we can have a comparative study about that. Now, Mahayana. This division again happened in the 4th Buddhist Council, guys, with Kanishka presiding over it. So Mahayana means great vehicle or the greater way or the greater path through which you can achieve salvation. Okay. The terms Mahayana and Hinian were given by the Mahayana school itself. So Mahayana was calling itself the greater vehicle and the original form of Buddhism to be the lesser vehicle. So in Mahayana, what changes happened? So in Mahayana, now Buddha was being considered as a god. Okay. Individual agency or karma had taken a backseat. Now what has become important to achieve salvation? Your worshipping towards Buddha, your devotion towards Buddha, how you worship him has become the sole characterization or the sole point through which you can attain salvation. Okay. We also have idol worship. So Buddha's idols were now being worshipped. The concept of bodhisattvas have also come in. The bodhisattvas are also being worshipped. Okay? So let's see what all points do we have here. So Mahayana has two main philosophical schools, Madhyamaka and Yogacara. Fine. The scriptures are in Sanskrit. Now that is the major difference. Earlier the scriptures were in Pali, in the language of the people. The school of Buddhism considers Buddha as a god and worships the idol of Buddha and the bodhisattvas. It believes in universal liberation from sufferings of all beings and spiritual upliftment. The end goal is the same. They all believe in nirvana. The end goal is definitely the same. Salvation can be attained by means of faith and devotion or to the mindfulness of Buddha, and it believes in mantras. I already told you that now individual agency or your karmas have taken a backseat. What has become important? Important क्या हो गया है? Worshipping Buddha, having faith in Buddha, all that has become much more important. Okay. So guys, let me know if you have any doubts here. Just take a look at both the schools of thought here and let me know if you don't understand something. The live chat is open, guys. Let's just see. If you have any doubts, please do let me know. Okay, let's move ahead and let's move on to the next school of thought, which is your Vajrayana. Now, it literally means the vehicle of thunderbolt or lightning. The Vajrayana is also called the diamond vehicle. Fine. So, the best possible vehicle actually. It is also known by different names like Mantrayan, Tantrayan, or esoteric Buddhism. Fine. It was established in Tibet in 11th century. This is quite, much later on. The two doctrines in the central concept of Vajrayana, the two truths are identified as conventional and ultimate truth. What do you mean by this? Conventional truth is the truth of consensus, reality, the common sense, notions of what exists and what does not exist. Ultimate truth is reality perceived by an enlightened mind. Okay. So, there are two differences here, two concepts which have been explained. First is the conventional truth. The conventional truth is the truth of the masses, what the common people believe to be true, what the common reality is, alright. What according to the people who have common mindset would think that reality is. Okay. यानी कि आम भाषा में, so whatever we think, the common people who are not so enlightened, not so intelligent, what they think that reality is. And then we have the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is the reality which has been perceived by an enlightened mind. Okay. What is it? It is perceived by an enlightened mind. So someone who has achieved enlightenment, the way they perceive reality or the way they perceive the ultimate truth, that is something which has been, which basically becomes a part of your conventional, that becomes a part of your ultimate truth. Okay. So they have the two truth doctrine. One which is perceived by the common people, and the other one is the one which is perceived by an enlightened mind. So that's about your the schools of Buddhism. Okay, let's move ahead and okay, so we have more of Vajrayana here. And after this, I will be talking about the 8 great Bodhisattvas. Now, these are very important, guys, from your MCQ perspective, because they can give you a lot of questions from here. Chaliye, let's talk about Vajrayana a little more. Vajrayana text uses highly symbolic language, or Sandhya Bhasha or twilight language. It aims to evoke experiences considered to be the most valuable. What do you mean by symbolic language? Now, it is a language which will not directly tell you what it should be stating or what you should be believing. It will talk in symbols, or you can say they will talk in muhavara, and you can have your own perception regarding it. You can have your own understanding regarding it. Fine. Now, Vajrayana believes that salvation can be attained by acquiring magical powers called Vajra. Okay, so if you want to achieve salvation, you have to attain magical powers called Vajra. Now this is, again, guys, this is just a belief that people have. This is something that not really happens in real life. Okay, it lays importance on the role of the Bodhisattvas. All right. And favors the fierce deities who are known as the Taras. Okay, who are the fierce deities. So basically we have different forms of Bodhisattvas. All right, and Tara is actually one of the form of Bodhisattvas. So they propagate, or they basically want people to worship the bodhisattvas. They lay importance on the role of the bodhisattvas. Okay? The ritual and devotion employ mantras, mandalas, and a complex array of other rituals. So there is mantra ucharan, there's mantra performance, there is mandalas. Mandalas is basically, small, it's like a rangoli that you make. It's very, very, very meditative, guys, because the designs are very intricate, and it has some other complex rituals which are being followed. The much importance is given to the role of guru. So the guru is called lama, fine. Who is a lama? Who has basically mastered the philosophical and ritual tradition, okay. There's a long lineage of lama, and the Dalai Lama is a well-known Tibetan lama. So we all know about him. We all know that the Dalai Lama is, someone who's elected or someone who's selected, and they are basically the follower of Vajrayana Buddhism. It is very much predominant in Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan, and Mongolia. So these are certain places which follow the Vajrayana Buddhism. Okay. All right. Just take a look and let me know if you have any doubts here. So why I told you about the Vajrayana Buddhism, because this is where the importance come in. We've all heard about Dalai Lama. We all know who the Dalai Lama is. We know the tradition of the Dalai Lama, but we should also know the tradition that they have been following, the kind of Buddhism that they have been following. So they're followers of Vajrayana Buddhism. Let me know if you have any doubts here. If there's anything you've not understood, guys, please let me know. Okay. So I don't think there is any doubt here. So maybe we can move ahead, and we are going to now be talking about the last topic in Buddhism. With this, we would have finished Buddhism. So let's talk about the 8 great bodhisattvas. So we've been going on and on about the bodhisattvas. Let me explain this concept. Who the bodhisattvas are. Now, I'm sure you guys know that in Hinduism we have pandits, right? What is the responsibility of these pandits? Now, these pandits have all the knowledge of all the Ved and Puran, and they themselves can attain salvation with all of the knowledge that they have, right? But do they do so? No. They don't really attain salvation for themselves, but they help others. With the abundance of knowledge, they help others in attaining salvation. How do they do it? Through various rituals that they prescribe to us, like Pindadan, the yearly puja, the yagya that we do. So these are the ways in which they prescribe that yes, people can achieve salvation. So instead of they themselves using their knowledge to attain salvation, they are helping others in doing so. Similarly, we have the concept of bodhisattvas. So bodhisattvas are also people who have accumulated a lot of merit on their own accord, and if they want, they can use it to attain salvation, but they don't. What do they do? Instead, what do? They help others in attaining salvation. Okay, so let's talk about the important bodhisattvas. First of all, we have Manjushri. Manjushri is supposed to embody a lot of wisdom. Okay, how is he depicted? In his right hand, he holds a flaming sword which is burning, okay, which symbolizes that wisdom will cut through ignorance. In his left hand, he holds the Prajanaparamita Sutta, a scripture that signifies the mastery of Prajana, okay. And often he appears sitting on the lion or the lion's skin, which symbolizes that the wild mind can only be tamed through wisdom. Okay, so he is all about wisdom. He is all about knowledge. Okay, Each of the things that he is holding, be it a sword, be it on what he is sitting, all of that is going to symbolize what? All of that is going to symbolize what? All that is going to symbolize wisdom. Okay. Then we have, these are different names. We have Padmapani, Lokeshwara, we have Avalokiteshwara. Okay. So this Bodhisattva represents infinite compassion. He is regarded as the manifestation of Amitabh, the Buddha of infinite light, usually depicted as holding a lotus in white color. So what is he prescribing? He is prescribing infinite compassion, guys. Compassion towards everyone, and compassion which is never ending. And he is often regarded as the manifestation of Amitabh, which is the Buddha of infinite light. Okay. So let me know if you have any doubts here, if there's anything you don't understand. Okay. Alright, since there are no doubts, let's move ahead. Alright, let's talk about Vajrapani. So as the name suggests, Vajra, he is the Bodhisattva of power and great energy. He is depicted as standing in a warrior pose. He's surrounded by fire, which represents the power of transformation. Why? Because fire can transform anything. Fire raises everything to the ground and then you can rebuild on it again. Vajrapani is wreathed in flame with a fierce pose and a fiercer face. So he is wreathed in flame means all around him you will see flames, all around him you will see fire, and he has a very fierce look on his face. Vajrapani is blue in color and he is seen to be holding a thunderbolt, or basically lightning, or Vajra. We have Kshitij Garbha. Kshitij Garbha is known for saving the souls of all beings. Between Buddha's death and the age of Maitreya, including the souls of children who died young and those in hell. So he is basically a redeemer. He redeems people of whatever wrongs they have done. He rescues their soul. Kshitij Garbha wears simple clothes of monks. He holds a staff in one hand to open the gates of hell, and in other he holds a jewel that was to strengthen the light up of darkness and fulfill wishes. So in one hand he has a staff, on the other hand he is opening the gates of hell, bringing everyone out of the gate of hell, redeeming them, saving their souls, fine. And in one hand he has a jewel which has the strength to light up the darkness. So wherever there is darkness, he'll be able to light it up, and he is also able to fulfill wishes. Okay, let me know if you have anything, if there's any doubt here, if there's anything you don't understand. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's talk about Akash Garb. Akash Garb is again known for his wisdom and ability to purify transgressions. So if you have done something wrong, he is easily be able to purify it. He has a twin brother called Kshitij Garb. He appears in, to be in a meditative pose, and he is literally sitting over a lotus, okay, or he is standing very peacefully on a fish in the middle of the ocean, and he is carrying a sword all right, to cut through negative emotions. Fine. So who is Ashkar? He is basically responsible for forgiving our transgressions if we have done something wrong. He appears in the series meditative position, and he's sitting either sitting cross-legged on a lotus, or he is standing very peacefully on a fish in the middle of the ocean. He has a sword, and that sword is basically to cut through all negative emotions that anyone might face at any point of time. Okay. Then we have Samant Bhadra. He is famous for his 10 vows. He is part of the Shakya Muni Trinity, or the Shakya Muni Buddha, and the Bodhisattva Manjushri. He is seen riding an elephant with 6 tusks. The teeth of elephant is known as tusks. So instead of 2, his elephant has 6 tusks, which represent the parimatas, the 6 perfections: patience, diligence, morality, clarity, contemplation, and wisdom. So he is basically known for his 10 vows, and again he is part of the Sakya Muni Trinity. All this you don't need to remember in detail, guys. Just remember that he is basically focusing on 6 virtues or 6 perfections. So he is the Lord. I would not say Lord, but he is the Bodhisattva of these 6 perceptions, of these 6 perfections: patience, diligence, morality, charity, contemplation, and wisdom. Okay, so let me just finish this, and then we can clear some doubts together. Then we have Vishakambin. The Bodhisattva purifies both internal and external wrongdoing. So if you've done something wrong externally and internally, they will be the ones who will be purifying it. Okay? And this is particularly for people who are faced with problems when they are on their path to enlightenment, or when they are on their path to salvation. Usually depicted seated on a lotus. He is holding a wheel which is full with jewelry, and he has a deep blue skin that represents royalty also. Okay? The Bodhisattva may also be represented in in yellowish color, all right, and he can also be represented in white. So these different colors symbolizes different things. Yellow is when he has to provide sufficient provision, so when he has to look after people. White is when he has to relieve the people of calamities, when you have to protect people from all sorts of danger. Okay. Lastly, we have Maitreya. He is also known as the future of Buddha, who has not yet arrived, but he will arrive as a savior. Fine. He is usually depicted sitting and waiting, painted or in orange or yellowish light. Okay. He is wearing a traditional scarf and holding an orange bush, symbolizing his strength to clear all distraction and destructive emotions. So Maitreya is something which have still not walked on earth, and this is a savior, which is promised, a prince that was promised. So they still hope that he will one day come on this earth and protect us. Okay, and what is he going to protect us from? He is going to clear all kind of distractions or destructive emotions that we might face when we are on the path to salvation, or when we are trying to achieve salvation. Okay. So that's about it. So this is about your 8 very important Bodhisattvas. Let me know if you have any doubts here. And with this, guys, we have finished our discussion on Buddhism. बुद्धिज्म का जो हमारा डिस्कशन है वो यहाँ पे एंड होता है, and after this we will officially be starting with our medieval ages. We will be starting with the Vardhan Empire, or Harshvardhan. So with this we have officially ended the ancient period, and we have officially ended with Buddhism. So let me know if you have any doubts. If there's anything you don't understand, you can definitely ask. Alright. Okay guys, so I think I'll end the session here. And I'm sure you all know Diwali is coming, so I'm sure you guys are excited about it and you guys are preparing for it. But don't forget, you also have to study. So padna mat bhul jayega. Okay. So with this, we officially come to the end of our session. Alright. And before I leave, I would request all of you to join our Telegram channel. The link and the scan code both have been given. Why is it important to join our Telegram channel? Because this is where you will get updates regarding the classes, okay? And this is where you will also get your notes. So whatever files that we upload, you can get the PDF version of it from here. So do join this, do join the group, so that your preparations are, top notch. You don't have to go anywhere else for notes, okay? And also guys, it's a request to like the video, share the video, comment, drop in a comment. If there's anything you like, you can tell us. Who doesn't like to be appreciated? If there's anything you don't like, then let us know, so that we can work on it, because we will be more than willing to improve ourselves. So please do that. And also, before you leave, do subscribe to the channel, press the red button, and also press the bell notification so that you get notified whenever we post a new video. So that's about it for today's class. I'll be seeing you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. So thank you so much for joining me here, guys. It was an absolute pleasure to have you all. And now I will see you all in the next class. Thank you.